Okay, we're now on the page with IDIS. We're going to be selecting Projects Activities tab, and with that, we then get the listing of the navigational links on the left-hand side of the screen, and notice their activity is the first heading and then project. We want to add a project, so we are going to select the add underneath the project heading. With that, the Add Project screen comes up, and to be sure, just as a note, just to be sure that you're always using UAT, please check that you have UAT written at the top of the screen in the blue header. You don't want to be adding in your real data. So just to be sure you're in the UAT region. Under the Add Project screen, you have a number of fields to complete. The first being, for what program year are you adding projects? And right next door to that field is add a new program year. So if this is the first time that you're entering projects in for the program year, you'll need to be adding the program year here. You'd enter a check mark in the box, enter the program year, and then go on about entering all of our project information. And when it's saved, it will then add that program year into your drop-down list to choose from for any future times you come in to add projects. Notice that the project title is asterisked. Everything that is required in the setup of adding a project is asterisked. So your IDIS project is asterisked, the program year is asterisked, so you have to have a program year, you have to have a project title. The optional field is the grantee PJ project ID and the description. However, the description, it can be copied directly from your action plan. So you could have your action plan open, copy the description as you have written it there, and paste it right into the description field here. You then enter in the estimated amount for the project. So in this particular case, the first project that we are adding is the housing rehab, and we're going to be using the year 2010. So the first thing that we're going to be entering is your program year. The project title can be housing rehab, or you may want to put in more detail than that depending upon how you wish to organize your data. If you put in the year, it lets you know, it gives you some hints when you're setting up your activities. Are you setting up the activity under the correct project in the correct program year? Because you often have repeated programs from one year to the next. Also, you may wish to have an indication of how this project is going to be funded. Will it be home or CDBG? And then the title of the project, and you may wish to add geographic information as well as other information to the project title. In my case, I'm going to put in the program year 10, that it's being funded with CDBG funds, and in IDIS, CDBG is recognized by the letter B, like in bicycle, and then I'm going to enter in housing rehab. The Grantee PJ project ID is an optional field. It's for you to use or not to use. It does show up on reports now, and it's a search feature as well. So this may be something that you may wish to link it to a contract number, a general ledger number. There may be internal issues that you'd like to address. Who is the program manager? Who is the subrecipient? So you may have your own coding that you wish to do. I'm going to just use the program year and the program, the same B, and then I'm going to use a general ledger number that I'm right now just making up in my mind instead of a real general ledger number. The housing rehab description is right there in your case study. So we would be entering in that it's a housing program with two components, a comprehensive rehab program and an emergency repair program, and that it's going to be providing up to $25,000 at a low interest loan of 3% for 10 years. for the CRP program, and for the emergency grant component, it would be $5,000 for emergency repairs. Now that that's entered, we'll go ahead and indicate on the section below under estimated amount, including program income, the amount that the project is to be funded for. Notice that it does indicate including program income. So you want to be sure that you are addressing your anticipated program income as you are working through your projects table, so that the timeliness deadline is not going to become an issue for you as a grantee. Notice that the field above the estimated amount indicates allow another organization to set up activities under this project. If you are going to be allowing a subrecipient to enter their data, this is where that would happen. We're not going to go into that level of detail for local grantees, as this is more likely to be used by states. Please note at the bottom of the screen, we are going to go ahead and press the Save key. And notice that it then will pop the screen up to the top of the screen, and in red it will indicate the project has been saved. And notice it then asks you, it's now giving you a new action button, two new ones actually. You've got the Save button, you have the Return to Projects, and you have a Cancel Project. So if you set something up and you looked and said, oh, I shouldn't have done that, you're able to cancel the project. And remember, you're now able to uncancel projects as of this past December in 2010. Notice the additional action button is Return to Projects, and that allows you, because at the time that you're setting up projects at the beginning of the year, you're normally going to set them up all together, and ideally set up all of your CDBG projects together and any other formula grant funds that you receive. Try to set up, if you receive home or emergency shelter grant or housing opportunities for persons with AIDS, that those are all set up together, so you're not doing a seek and search for your projects by program area. So we would return to the project, and that gives you then a new blank screen, and you could continue through, just as we have in our case study, adding the projects, going through the next project to enter. For example, our next project would be Brightwood Neighborhood Street Improvements, and it's CDBG funds combined with state and local resources to construct deteriorated streets. So they're giving you a lot of information, and oftentimes from your action plan, you're sorting through and reading through the description to identify all of the details that may or may not need to be included as your description. So we're going to go ahead and stop there on adding a project and let you go ahead and enter in numbers 2 through 5. So you're going to enter in Brightwood Neighborhood Street Improvements, Business Loan Program, Public Services, and Administration and Planning.